Greetings! Today I'm going to be painting an Assault Intercessor of the Silver Guard chapter. This chapter was requested by a viewer. I'd not seen this chapter before. They have an interesting scheme, so I went with it. I didn't do any kit bashing this time, just a 3D printed pauldron with their chapter insignia on it that I made myself. I primed the model black, and followed that with a base coat of Phoenician purple. The Silver Guard paint their armour purple, with silver arms, so I only applied the purple on the legs and torso. I avoided the undersuit and joints, to save time base coating later. I then used Xeraeus purple, applied as a thin layer to build up the brightness, avoiding the recesses. The Citadel range of paints is lacking in purples, so it's not a perfect match to the reference, but it's a bit closer with this colour. It's a subtle change, so here's a comparison before and after applying it. After the video I did on the adulators, I've recognised that these muted colours require more work to stand out, so I did a complete edge highlighting pass with Gene Stealer purple. Looks really bright now, but with the silver and other effects later, it'll even out. I used Iron Hand Steel for all of the metallics. It's a light silver colour, and I figure the Silver Guard would use a colour that looks like silver, right? The arms, the weapons, the pauldron trim, power pack details, the holster cap, the helmet, and the Imperialis were all base coated with this colour. I switched to Black Legion to clean up the pauldrons and weapons. And also painted in the power pack cabling and undersuit where needed. The holster, pouch and belt received a base coat with Rhinox hide. I like the colours I used for the leather in my Sons of the Phoenix video, so I used the same mixture again. Skrag brown was used as a splotchy highlight, letting the brush dry a bit as I painted to get an intentionally chalky appearance. Deathclaw brown followed, making small highlights of the larger areas to add definition. I really like the result of this mix. The parchment was painted with Steel Legion Drab. I applied 2 coats as I thinned the first coat too much. The wax was painted with Screamer Pink. I switched between painting the wax and parchment to give them time to dry. I layered up the parchment with Morghast bone, giving it scratchy lines that almost completely cover the surface. The wax was then highlighted with Khorne red. I used Baal red for the eyes, tinting the silver colour. The silver sections of armour received a layer of Runefang steel. A final highlight of Stormhost silver was applied to many of the edges. I was having trouble seeing the effect, not sure this was necessary at all. I prepared the pauldron for decals with Ardcoat. While waiting for the Ardcoat to dry, I began painting the armorial. I used Ulthuan Grey as a base, but as the insignia is only raised 0.35mm from the pauldron surface, I had to paint most of it off camera. I did a highlight of Corax white to make it a bit brighter, so it didn't look too dark compared to the decals I'd planned for the pauldron. I cut out an assault tactical marking and a high Gothic numeral, and wet them with some water. Using microset, I applied them to the pauldron, making sure they're in the right position before moving on. While the decals were drying, I used Eshin Grey to highlight the black portions of the weapons, and later Mechanicus Standard Grey to make it stand out further. I should also point out that I was applying Microsol off camera to the decals every 15 or 20 minutes. I used Vallejo's dark grey wash with metallics, with a bit of water mixed in so it wouldn't overpower the silver. Scribbles were drawn on the parchment with a 0.15mm micron pen. For the lights on the wrist, I used striking scorpion green. And highlighted the eyes with Wild Rider red. That's it for the acrylics. So after the final coat of Microsol was dry, I varnished the model. I prepared for enamels using white spirits this time, getting 2 droppers full in this little saucer. I then used my typical aircraft engine wash and thinned it down for application. I wanted to try these white spirits, as buying tiny containers of special artist thinners is expensive by comparison to this liter I got from my local hardware store. I did notice a difference. While it thinned, it didn't thin as easily or flow as far as the AK thinners I've used in previous videos. As the legs were already pretty dark, I applied some of AK's earth effects. This enamel paint, after a bit of thinning, should look like dried dirt or dust, hopefully looking a bit more believable than just the first brown wash I use. After it was dry, I used the same thinners on a cotton tip to remove it from certain spots, trying to maintain the purple colour instead of just hiding it behind dirt effects. I used the sharp tip side to clean the Imperialis and other silver details, letting the silver shine through. Once it was fully dry, I applied the same basing method as in my other videos. Rhinox hard on the base, PVA glue, and then dip it in the basing mix. And here we have it, a Silver Guard Assault Intercessor. I like this one. The purple was something I've never done before. I'm happy about how it turned out. If you were doing this scheme, I'd probably recommend a different brand of paint to get a closer match for the purple. If you've seen my other videos, you'll know I've got a list of requests I'm working through, alongside my own musings. This video was made via request, so if you'd like to see me paint a specific chapter, let me know and I'll add it to my list. Otherwise, if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Hope to see you in the next one.